Hello and good morning. You are back with the skipper. Hey, I really want to apologize for what would be now last night's show, Thursday night. Had some technical difficulties there at the end, as you saw. I'm sorry about that. I had a day, boy. You know, one of those days where you're just like, you wake up and you get a text from, we have a couple that rent a little piece of property on our property here, and their septic had backed up, and my dog's in the process of having a litter of puppies, and Elizabeth's in Sedona, and thank God she's just having the time of her life out there, and that's awesome. But it's a small farm, and you know how things happen. Sometimes it all happens at once, and then I at the end of the day, I was like, man, I can't wait to do this show. I have such great notes, and I really did a lot of homework on what I like to call the future of stablecoins, and that's what I'm going to present to you today. Again, I'm sorry about last night. I feel bad about it, but you know, as they say, the show must go on. Okay, this genius bill, that's a done deal. Stick a fork in it. We're good to go, right? Okay, what does all that mean? What are we talking about here with stable coins? Well, you and I understand them to some degree. The public doesn't really understand them at all, but the public doesn't even understand the coins or the money that we use currently today anyway. So why would that change anything? It's not. It's not at all. But the powers that be have appointed themselves the powers that be. In other words, you know, Oz behind the curtain, pulling all the levers, is just really, you know, 13 to 17 families that decided that they're going to be the stable coin, and they decided that way back in 1913. That's essentially what they are. The Federal Reserve is a private company. It's a private banking group. That's who they are. So, what is a stable coin? Well, let's see. Well, Circle isn't private any longer. It is sort of, to some degree. But Tether is private. All these banking institutions that are now about to start creating their own stable coins all around the world, in every country in the world, in every neighborhood around the world, is essentially going to be the future of the Federal Reserve. That's right, I said it. This is what I wanted to talk about on my Thursday night show. I know it's Saturday morning. It's kind of really, I like to kind of make my Saturday mornings a little lighter, but I want you to understand the ramifications of what all that really means. So now we've given so much power and energy to this Federal Reserve, which they're not federal and they have no reserves, and they just create money out of thin air. Well, isn't that exactly what Tether's been doing forever? That's right, they create out of thin air. Why? Okay, well, they buy these treasuries and they get to say, hey, this is equivalent to a US dollar, and we'll keep it pegged to the dollar. And as long as the peg stays good, the only one that's really lost their peg was Circle and USDC. They lost their peg. They had some trouble. They had some banking issues. FDIC had to bail Circle out. I don't know if you guys remember that. Doesn't seem to bother anybody because look at their stock right now. It's just going ballistic. So the future of the printing of the US dollar going around the globe is now going to be in everybody's hands. So I must say that that's going to be an inflationary act. Gee, Ellen, how could you even imagine that? Like, how could it not be, right? Of course, because every country is going to be able to print their own dollars, use their own dollar, and the only mechanism that they have is to back it on the U.S. Treasury. Well, if you back your printing of something with the U.S. Treasury, that's going to strengthen the U.S. Treasury because sovereign nations don't seem to want to buy it anymore. So now public companies are going to start buying it. Public individuals, like we've been talking about for months on this channel, everyday human beings, when they use the stable coin of that nation's treasury, is going to strengthen that treasury. So we're eliminating the federal, or the way I like to put it, not to be too geopolitical here, but eliminate the Europeans, in particular the city of London, away from the sovereign United States Treasury. That's what's happening right now. And the people that are going to do the work are all the banks around the world are going to sell the U.S. Treasury. The U.S. Treasury will be a completely different dollar than the one that they get to print or create out of thin air. That's a stablecoin. That's the Treasury. It all comes to the Treasury. You're buying Treasuries. You're supporting the Treasury. So what are we now missing? Well, what else did we have way back in the day? It used to be backed by gold. It used to be backed by silver. It used to be backed by many other assets. Oil comes to mind. What are you going to back it with now? Well, let's see. If you have RLUSD, for instance, okay, and you have XRP, do you really need both? Yeah, you do. Why? Because they're two totally different products. You're going to need XRP because there's a limited amount of them. That's why Bitcoin comes into play here. There's a limited amount of these. This is key. This is a very important fact that I know I need everyone to kind of grasp right now. This man's opinion, we're not going to go to a gold standard. Gold's going to play a big part. There's going to be a bunch of different things happening with gold, and I understand all that. I don't know the big picture. I don't know which crypto it's going to pick. Is it going to be a pack of 5 or 10, the top 5 or 10 coins? Probably. That makes sense, like an index, a crypto index, if you will. There's a highly likely that it could be Bitcoin for sure. I mean, I think it's up to 64 or 65% of the market share now. So when the next $10 trillion comes, I want everybody who doesn't own Bitcoin to understand this one point. When the next $10 trillion comes into crypto, that means $6.3 trillion of that goes to Bitcoin. You understand how significant that is? And then all the other hundreds of thousands of coins get to split the remaining. You know, for instance, I don't even know what XRP is. I don't know, 3-5% of the market, something like that. So you get 5% of the 10 trillion coming in. That's today's standards. That's the way it's all set up today. I know it's all going to change. This whole ISO things, this all going to make everything different. What banking means and where banking's going is going to change as well. I really, if you understand what I've said so far, I want you to understand what that means to debt. Okay? So, in the past, the Federal Reserve said, well, gee, Americans, we made all this money out of nowhere because we have no reserves. And we went ahead and made all this money for you guys, and then you owe us interest. You owe us interest because we're the Federal Reserve, and we're the big fat cats on the hill, and we're good for it. We're eliminating that job. So what does that mean to the average taxpayer in the United States? Well, let's see. If the Treasury works for the people, seems like what Mr. Trump would like to have happen. If the Treasury works for us, and people have to pay for the use of our treasuries, maybe we don't pay them an interest rate. Oh, I don't know. Why would we pay Circle or Tether an interest rate? For them, of the privilege of being able to say that they just created a US dollar. Seems backwards, really, doesn't it? Oh, wait a minute. Where did the 37 trillion come from? Why does it even exist? What is the future of that number? What if we just told all those guys to just go pound sand somewhere? Just take your 37 trillion and just go somewhere else with it. That's what's about to happen. That's this man's opinion. Allow me to speculate here. Let's say that, okay, Tether, you want to keep doing business, and they're going to conform, and they're going to start some other branch, and they're going to do whatever, Circle, or whichever one you like, or there's going to be 1,000 more coming. And they're going to say, okay, well, what are you going to do for our people? What's in it for us? Where's the big? Where's the scratch here for me? Why am I getting out of bed? American citizen. You're using our good name, a little something for the effort. That's right. They're going to pay us. They're going to pay the Treasury for the use of this. That's how the debt's going to go away. Now you know why Mr. Trump, call him whatever you like him or not, wants the interest rate to zero. How is it the Swiss, I believe, came up with, they're at zero interest rate. We're 5-6%, whatever. No, we're 5% right now at 30-year. Why? Why is that? Everybody else is handing out money like it's free. It is free. Remember, they don't have any reserves of it. And they're not federal. When you pay your credit card, when you purchase something on your credit card, that currency or that money was invented at that moment. It didn't come out of MasterCard's bank account. That's how this whole Ponzi has worked. Crypto is bringing credibility to the Ponzi. And they're calling us Ponzi scheme. I mean, it's comical, really. I mean, it's just think about that just for a couple of minutes. We get to create money backed by the US dollar in the good faith of the US dollar all around the world. And it's going to be backed with cryptos. In particular, I really believe this is why they're setting up this reserve with Bitcoin. Holy smokes, I just noticed there's a fire over there. Well, it's quite a ways from me, but anyway, bombers aren't flying yet, so that'll be coming soon. Just think about that for a minute now. We're going to actually make money, just tiny little chips on, each one that's ever created, for the rest of time. And let's also say, well, okay, well, you backed it by XRP or whatever your coin, a bag of the top 5. So as XRP goes up $1 in value, that means all XRP, that means all 100 billion XRPs went up by $1, right? Well, the ones that are out in the market. So now you've got 100 billion distribution and XRP went up $1, you just created $100 billion. Why wouldn't you want that to occur? Clearly you want that to occur if you're a nation state. Because skip the old bond system, you have now a treasury system, and now you have oh boy, here it comes. Now you have the new collateral for all banking institutions, and the new collateral in particular for any country that wants to create a bond. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to declare my bank able to print or create treasuries. That treasury is going to be a US dollar, correct? But what are they going to do with that? How are they going to back it up, support it? We used to support things by gold standard. Today it's going to be crypto standard. The future of the crypto is going to go up. Why would you ever want it to go down? It's not going to go down because all these 30-year bonds that are rolling over an ancient product that nobody wants to buy anymore, including China and everybody else, and we already determined that, our treasuries weren't good for what they were good for, okay? We already reneged on the Russians on the whole thing. So what are we going to do with it? We're going to create a U.S. treasury with it. That U.S. treasury will be backed by crypto. Crypto has no debt. Oh, I hear a bomber coming. Crypto has no debt. It has no lien against it. It has no money issuance. It issues its own currency as a crypto coin. Bingo. How can we verify that? Perfect. Blockchain. We can understand where every single one of them are. And in fact, in Bitcoin's case, it gets audited every 10 minutes. It's the perfect monetary system to back the standard of your wealth, your efforts, your labor, everything you do on something that it has an accountability and a finite number of. It's a win-win. The world will prosper in a manner that this world has never seen before, because they're going to bring honesty and money, possibly for the first time since Christ was tipping tables over. Wrap your head around that. That's where this mind's going. It's amazing. We're there. We're minutes away from this. This is bigger than anybody even understands. And when the current regime tells you that we're going to be the United States is going to be the crypto capital of the world, you better know that's a fact. I just explained to you why that's going to happen, how that could happen. Again, I'm speculating. There's a guy in my chair, I had a bunch of puppies and ran around unplugging the sewage yesterday. I'm just a dude, just a guy. But man, I've seen puzzles before, and I've seen them come together, and every single time that I wrap my head around what we're doing with this entire crypto thing is keeping money honest. And for the first time in the history of man, even back when we had gold kept us on, gold never kept us honest. You have no idea, is that a painted rock or is it gold? I don't know, I can't see it, I can't pick it up. Well, the banker said he had it. Honesty is now in the blockchain. Honesty is immutable. You cannot, I'm sorry. It's open source. You cannot lie. And yet, we're going to be able to bank every human being on this planet with a phone. They're going to buy those stable coins and trade those stable coins every single second of every day on their phone. No more application for a bank account. No more, please, blood type, family ancestry. Oh, we got to hold your parents accountable for every dollar you've loaned. No, that's all extortion, and it's going away, and it's happening now. And all you and I need to do is hang on, because people are going to pay you ridiculous annual monthly income salaries for the coins in which you own, because those coins are what the monetary system is going to be backed on. You're not going to back it on oil, and you're not going to back it on gold. By this man's opinion, the gold has failed mankind too many times. Is gold going to go down in value? Absolutely not. It's a precious metal. It will be some part of the equation of some degree. Anyway, I got about 10 other things I wanted to talk about. I wrote them all down here. Yeah. Oh, here come the bombers. I don't know if you can hear it. I saw that fire start up over there. It's like 2 canyons over. And now the bombers are going to... man, I'll tell you, Cal Fire, unbelievable. These guys, the work they did, it's amazing to watch them work to put a fire out in one of these canyons. It's pretty incredible. They don't get them all out, because a lot of them, they get pretty huge. Enough about Cal Fires in here. I want you to understand the concept of where money, the future of all money, is going. Do I have it all figured out? No. Do I understand the role of XRP yet? Not clearly. I know there's a lot of people who have channels that tell you, oh, this is exactly what's going to happen. That doesn't make, a lot of the narrative that I've heard about XRP doesn't make sense, in the sense that it could become money. Is it the transaction or the money? Because it's going to be difficult for it to be both. It's tough to be the dollar and the SWIFT system. It's tough. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying it couldn't happen. And I'm not saying an index of the top 5 coins wouldn't be a great idea. What I am saying is there's nation states and there's governments currently today that are spending hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars buying Bitcoin. And they're in a big panic mode. And they're buying a lot of it. And I think they have a plan for it. And I know people tell me, oh, it's a Ponzi, and they're going to rug pull it. I get all that. Well, maybe. I mean, except for, why are they all buying it when it's $105,000? Why didn't they buy it when it's 5 cents if this was the big master plan? Why didn't they buy it back then? Oh, we know 20 years from now we're going to make Bitcoin the collateral of the whole world. Well, if they knew that even 5 years ago, why didn't they buy it at $5,000, $15,000? It's at 105 now, and they're tripping now over each other to try and buy it. I'm just saying. I'm asking the questions here. Anyway, there's 5 other things on my list. I don't want to make this video too long. This is a subject we're going to go over. We're going to stay on top of, and we're going to stay close to this because a stable coin is bigger than you know. And what is the punchline to the whole thing is? What does that mean? Everybody understands stablecoin because they're going to be able to use it on their phone daily. You don't need the bank account like we talked about. Okay, what does that mean to crypto? That means easy in and out. That means holding your wealth now will not be held in dollars. Why? Because the stable coins are going to print ridiculous amounts of them, right? So even more inflation potentially, right? So the Federal Reserve is going to lose the ability to change the interest rates because they're going to free float. We're going to go to a capitalist system. And then we're going to be able to purchase whatever we deem to be money or value going forward in man's history, which is, in my opinion, the top 10 crypto coins. Again, my show, my opinion. With that, I love you all. I am out. Yeah. Okay. All right, YouTube chimp. Nobody cares about your suit and your puppies and your farm and your chores and your wife's out of town. Stop your sniveling, chimp, and get in front of the camera and make me my video. No days off, Captain Chimp. We need this info. So you skip the chores. Get it done now. God, I love this show. Love you all.